family wants me to break up with my girlfriend after how she responded to my brother's prank. We got a male 27, female 22, as well as the brother's male 22. I've been dating my girlfriend Lola for about 2 years now, and overall things have been great. My brother Ian has always been pretty weird whenever she comes up or is around. Ian and I are very close, talking to each other daily, but the conversation will usually change gears right as I start talking about anything Lola related. I thought maybe he was jealous of the time I was spending with her, or maybe a little crush on her. Still, whenever we'd get together, he'd make comments about our age gap, poke fun at me for simping, and joke about her sleep disorder. Ian's always enjoyed a good prank, either pranking or being pranked. He loves to laugh, and I genuinely believe that when he goes to prank people, he means it in a way to share the laughter. When he's tried to pull little pranks on Lola though, he does things that he figured out triggers her disorder, like making sudden loud sounds, jumping out to scare her, and one time I caught him before he was going to do the shaving cream sleep bit while she was taking a nap in the guest room. I warned him that he shouldn't mess with her while she's sleeping, as interrupting her regulated cycles isn't good for her, and at the absolute best, she's the worst kind of cranky when she's woken up. Ian looked like he understood, and I thought that was that. I threw a New Year's Eve party a few days ago and invited Ian and a bunch of mine and Lola's friends. Everyone was having a good time. My watch went off with the alarm that we set up for Lola to take a nap. She went off with a sleepy smile. I kept partying. A while later, we all heard a scream, followed soon after by cussing and something breaking. I panicked as it was from my room where Lola was, and I ran through, nearly kicking the door down to find she shoved someone down and was yelling at them. I looked to see who it was and saw a spider mask that I unfortunately recognized as Ian's from years ago. I saw him scrambling to get away, but she only stopped when 3 of her friends pushed past me to pull her up and check her before she ultimately passed out in their arms. Ian scrambled off the floor and ripped the mask off, revealing the work she'd managed to do in the time it took us to react. He started bawling, telling me that she was insane and abusive, and that he only wanted to make sure she wasn't going to sleep through the ball drop. At this point, everyone started yelling. Ian looked terrified and kept repeating that she was crazy and that I shouldn't be with someone who could do this to her boyfriend's brother. Some of my guys were yelling that if she did it to him, she could do it to me. All my friends were screaming about how he should know to leave a sleeping girl alone and how it was creepy. Ian ended up calling her mom to tell her that Lola hurt him, and she's furious. Lola's friends ended up carrying her out against my protests, and my friends were nearly split down the middle. I remember standing there while everyone argued while the ball dropped. My mother called me for the 10th time, and Lola finally texting me that she needs space to think. Since then, we've lightly texted. She's expressed that she can't shake her fear of what happened, but she still hasn't told me from her side what happened. Ian and my mom are trying to convince me to break up with her and chastising me for not helping or standing up for my brother when he was being assaulted. Also demanding an apology for not playing my part as an older brother. Ian has FaceTimed a few other family members and now my aunt, who paid for both of our colleges and the house my mom and brother live in and helped me to get my apartment, is taking the 3-hour drive up to make sure her boys are okay, which is stressing me out even more. On one hand, I know family is family and I should do what I can to stand up for the people who have helped raise me and become the person I am. On the other hand, Lola is my girlfriend. I adore her. I love her. I feel like I should be there to protect her. I don't want to push her boundaries, but not talking to her is a different kind of hurt. Ian is convinced that while he was doing a well-intentioned prank and was wrongfully punished for wanting to make sure everyone was enjoying themselves, I don't know if I believe that. But I've known Ian for 22 years. Growing up, we were inseparable. I don't want to down him just because love may be blinding me. How do I approach the situation with Lola? How can I convince my family that Lola isn't a threat? She's honestly the most sweet and caring person. She just can't be woken up, and part of me feels like she was pushed to that point. If you are pranking somebody, yes, pranks are fun, haha, hee hee, we've all done a prank, gotten pranked. What people don't understand is that pranks have risks. When you're pranking somebody, you need to be prepared as well as be able to take account for if the prank isn't well received. No matter what prank you're pulling, whatever happens next is on you. It's your responsibility to assess the risk of your prank. If you scare the shit out of a girl while they're sleeping, and not just somebody who's sleeping, but someone who has a sleep disorder that someone has already warned you, hey man, if someone wakes her up, she is very cranky, probably not the time to prank her because she'll probably have a bad reaction, and you still go through with it, you are responsible. I don't care if the prank was lighthearted and nice, which it doesn't sound like it was. Like, it sounds like you scared the actual fucking shit out of her. You can be a prankster all you want, but like, the best pranksters know the risk and they know how to either mitigate the risk or have something there that when that risk arises, they're able to protect themselves. This won't be a full update as a lot lot happened yesterday, and I frankly don't have time to get into everything with police and packing to deal with. While a lot of you advised I wait for Lola to tell me her side before I confront my family, they all came over to my apartment yesterday morning while I was writing out a list of questions for them. I was supposed to go over the night before, but I texted them saying I needed time and if we could meet later today. But they obviously didn't like that and showed up unannounced. The fighting started almost immediately, and I initially was thrown off by them being there, but I matched energy and started yelling back at them for their predatory and enabling behavior of Ian and how I couldn't believe they'd side with him over this, golden rainbow baby aside. My aunt got in my face about disrespect while my mom cried and brother cussed me out, but I pointed at my computer and yelled back at them that if they believed Lola was the problem, then they were victim-blaming idiots that I wanted nothing more to do with. My mom kept crying, but I got my aunt's attention with the computer and she got close to look at the screen. I was going through comments to write up all the questions, and after a minute she turned back to us, really to my brother, and said, "What is this?" I explained Reddit and that I'd posted for help. Ian then stopped comforting mom and pushed past me to get to the computer, asking what right I had sharing family business on the internet. My aunt stopped him and asked, "Why didn't you tell us you were alone with her? You never told me she was sleeping." To say all hell broke loose would be an understatement. Like a switch, my mom almost immediately stopped loudly crying and looked over at my aunt confused. Ian started shaking his head and reiterating his version of the story, which, listening to it, was infuriatingly off. I'd figured out that not only did he tell my mom and our extended family a version of the story in which Lola was all too violent with him when he jumped from behind a door to give her a little spook, but he left out the details that put him in any bad light. I started yelling again, calling him a liar, but he started crying and called me a liar who was just trying to lie for my girlfriend. At the sight of my brother crying, my mom pleaded with us to stop, my aunt scrolling more on the screen. It felt like both a minute and forever that we were yelling in each other's faces about how the night went, how I felt he always used his tears to get his way, him yelling at me about how ungrateful I always was, etc. Unfortunately, I forgot where we were and didn't keep the volume down at all, and sometime later there was a knock on the door. I didn't know who it could be. Some dumb part hoped Lola, though I knew it wasn't. It was two officers answering to a noise complaint from one of the neighbors. Feeling stupid, I plainly explained that no one was hurt and we were having a heated argument, but that no one was in danger. I did let them look around and talk to my mom and brother, but my aunt spoke up when it looked like they were just going to give us a warning. "Actually, I think it's good that you're here. My nephew has something he'd like to report." She motioned to Ian, whose eyes looked between her and the officers quickly. My aunt still looked as angry when she first arrived, but she was glaring at Ian. You know, hypothetically, if someone touches or hits you without permission or justified reason, that's something you can and should report. Is there anything you want to say? There was silence, eyes moving to everyone around the room. My aunt didn't look encouraging in a report. It hit me that she was calling him out. I stared at him. His eyes were bulging. He looked as panicked as the other night when he was trying to get away from Lola. One of the officers asked if everything was all right, and like clockwork, Ian started bawling his eyes out. My mom asked him what was wrong. I told her she had to stop babying him. He's been lying to you guys. My aunt asking him again if he had anything to report. "You were up in arms against this girl this morning. Where'd all that fire go? Did she hit you or not?" It took a while of us pushing him, but he finally admitted to the room that he didn't have anything to report because he didn't feel like she'd be rightly prosecuted. His next story sounded closer to the one I knew, where he admitted to knowing Lola had gone to sleep and wanted to scare her so she'd wake up. I still don't believe his reason why he wanted her up. That he put on a mask. I asked if he knew she had a phobia. He said he knew she found them creepy and that no, there was no one else in the room with them. He couldn't get any of our friends to agree to the prank, so he did it himself. He said he started making sounds against the wall the bed was against and then got close to scream in her face. He said she woke up and surprised him because he thought the stress and panic would cause her to scream or hide, but she went for his throat instead. He described his beating to everyone in the room, some of which I saw had the officers look at each other then look back at him. Then that's when I pushed the door in. The door wasn't locked. I just panicked and didn't think to use the doorknob properly. I just threw my body at the door, and the rest of his story is what I was there for. I'm sure if the police weren't there, I would have hit him. I know I would have. My mom started crying even more when he said she was sleeping, a fact that changed his entire story, and my aunt chewed him out. Everyone scolding him for his stupidity and asshole behavior, while the officers explained that it sounded like if what he said was true, Lola acted in self-defense, and that not only what he did was juvenile, but one of the officers asked my mom's permission to question him more as his behavior was concerning, and they wanted to make sure he wasn't a danger to himself or others. My aunt and I told the cops he was 22 at the same time, an adult, and they didn't need her permission. He looks a lot younger than he is. Upon hearing his age, one of the officers sat down with him and asked him to talk through his thought process, and the other officer officer explained to my mom and aunt that Lola could press charges given Ian's story. My aunt still looked pissed while my mom cried about being confused and over her baby. My mom literally looked at me and said she didn't understand how her baby could do this. I already know I was deep in the bullshit of this family, but I realized that I couldn't grow in the earth that poisoned me and I needed to get away if I was going to get better and stay better. My mom kept fussing with my aunt and another uncle on the phone, crying over the drama while I texted a friend of mine who lives across the city if I could stay with him. I was feeling overwhelmed with all of them and didn't want to be within a few minutes of the source of the problem. I also wanted to give myself space to think and understand with a clear head. I'm typing this between breaks of me packing. My aunt saw me in the room doing this, but she didn't stop me. She only asked if I'd spoken to Lola about this, and I told her I haven't yet, but I had plans to later. She told me she was sorry for believing my brother without listening to any other account, and she hopes Lola is okay. But the mom is part of the problem. That is literally how you fuck up your kid. So then it was just me in the apartment. The cops left after taking a statement from my brother, and my mom left with my brother, still crying, my brother calling me an a-hole, the world's worst brother, and my aunt gave me a hug, apologizing again for how she and her sister acted, and told me that I don't owe her anything, but that she'd like to know that Lola's okay. With everyone gone, I went to my friend's house, and I'll be there until further notice. He couldn't make it to the party, but he heard about it from multiple people. As far as Lola, yes, I did meet with her yesterday. As excited as I was to see her, I know that most of you were telling me she was going to break up with me, so I'd been preparing for that. Whether I ended up single or not, I wanted to make sure she was okay above all. I know I don't deserve her as a girlfriend, and I'd much rather she not be with me if it meant she was safe. She brought a friend with her, and we all sat and talked. I showed them both the Reddit post, and Lola has asked I not share any more information about her until she feels ready herself. She's on Reddit for gaming and generally scrolling fairly often, and let me know that if she came across this story without me having told her, she would have been pissed. She did, however, read a lot of the commenters worried about her and wanted me to express to you all that while upset, hurt, and with mixed up emotions, she is overall okay. She doesn't like that I posted about her without at least giving her a heads up, but after I offered to take the post down, she only asked that I give her time and to leave her personal life and opinions out of anything beyond what I've already said here until she says otherwise. In short, she did break up with me, and when I told her about the police telling us that she could press charges, her friend laughed and told me that they were more than aware. She thanks everyone for her concern and told me she really hopes we both learn from this. The section was approved by her. My mom has been calling and texting me, telling me that this whole ordeal has made Ian and her a wreck, and she can't believe I'd let a girl do this to us. I blocked my brother right after he left my apartment, and I just blocked her. My aunt let me know she'll talk to her, but I don't know how that's going to go. I cheated on my wife, and now I don't know how to get her back to normal. Get her back to normal is such a crazy line. She's just acting so weird. I cheated on her, and now she's not normal anymore. Maybe if you turn her off and then turn her back on, it'll all be normal. My wife, together for 5+ years, was always afraid that I would cheat on her. Her father cheated on her mother all her life with different women, sometimes with men. Her ex-boyfriend cheated on her, and they broke up because of it. I had never cheated on my wife before. I could see how she was worried about being cheated on. I thought her fears were unfounded. I thought I was not that type of guy. And then I met a colleague at work with whom I developed a passion. It was one sex, just one. I give you one sex. I'll take one sex, please. Just one. In a bathroom stall at a corporate event. After that, I told her that it would not happen again, that I loved my wife, and that there was nothing between me and her. I immediately confessed everything to my wife. She accepted it, seemingly calmly. She didn't scream or cry. She listened to me and said, okay. She said she wanted to continue our relationship when I asked. But since then, she has been silent almost constantly. She stopped wearing makeup and wearing nice things. She spends almost all her time on the internet, on her laptop, and refuses to watch a movie with me or go out to dinner together. She doesn't cook anymore and only eats chips. If I cook, she won't touch the food. She refuses to go to therapy and keeps saying everything is fine, but we don't have sex anymore, we don't kiss, we don't cuddle. I prove every day that I will never cheat on her again. That is an insane statement. How does one prove every day that they will not cheat again? I text her every day from work and send her pictures so she can make sure I'm at work. My brother in Christ, where was the woman that you cheated on her with? Where? Oh, work? Oh, I'm so sure. She's so relieved. I don't stay late at work anymore. If I go somewhere, my phone is always in my hand so I can answer her call right away if she decides to make sure I'm not with another girl. How can I fix this situation? Be a better human being? Hot take. If you ever cheat on someone, the only correct plan of action is to break it off with them right away. If you are willing to cheat on somebody, there's nothing wrong with with them and everything wrong with you. Whether it's you're not as in love with them anymore, or whether it's you have no self-control. You don't deserve that person the second you cheat on them. It sounds like your wife is depressed and mad at you, which she probably should be. There's no going back to normal, because normal is not cheating on somebody that you love. Why did you do that? Do you not have enough self-respect? Do you not have enough discipline? Maybe your marriage isn't that great. Am I the a-hole for arguing with my wife about the childbirth? My wife doesn't want me in the room once she gives birth. The reason is a pretty stupid reason, but here it goes. So when we gave birth to our son 2 years ago, I was on the phone the entire time. I would leave to take calls while she was in labor. My wife and the nurses found it extremely disrespectful that I did that. I stated several times that I did it out of stress because I was worried about her and the baby. She also accused me of not doing much besides going to work after our son was at home. While we have worked it out, I have refused to apologize because I'm dealing with my own shit too. Now we have a baby on the way. She told me she doesn't want me in the room because I completely disrespected her last time and refused to apologize for it. I don't know why she's still not over this, but I have told her several times that I'm not missing my child's birth over petty bullshit like this. She still won't budge. Was I the a-hole here? My friends are on my side, but my parents are on my wife's side. Jeffrey, hey, yo, it's Sarby. Oh, what's the screaming in the background? My wife is giving birth. What the fuck? What are we doing here, brother? There's nothing to say about this. I'm just shocked and appalled. They've already gone through this. They've already had a baby. The husband has showed how terrible he is at being supportive during the birth, how terrible he is at being a general father. And the wife was like, fuck it, bro. Let's do another one. That's insane. Would I be the a-hole if I visited my parents after my wife gives birth? My wife, Sarah, and I, both early mid-30s, are expecting twins in early March. First and only kids for both of us. We had to go through IVF due to fertility struggles. Sarah is scheduled for a C-section due to this being a difficult pregnancy and other complications that make her high risk. Luckily, her parents are only a few hours drive away and willing to come whenever needed. My parents live in another country, and I see them usually once a year to every year and a half. They are aware of when Sarah is scheduled to have her C-section. Things have been going on that they don't know how to handle, and they want me there to help out. My parents don't have a lot of money, but they went ahead and booked me a non-refundable plane ticket to come help them and visit for 6 weeks. The flight date is 5 days after Sarah's scheduled C-section. Holy shit, 6 weeks? I've asked Sarah to look into rescheduling her Hold on, you're asking the pregnant lady to reschedule getting twins out of her uterus? I've asked Sarah to look into rescheduling her surgery a few weeks earlier if possible, but she refused, saying she's gotten herself mentally prepared for that particular date. And unless there's some sort of emergency with the twins, her OB is not going to approve pushing it up a few weeks. I told her that it would give me more time to help her directly after birth before I leave for my parents. Sarah thinks I'm crazy for even considering going for that long or at all, while we have 2 newborns at home and she's recovering from surgery and we're getting adjusted to being new parents. If I had the money to spare, I'd hire someone to stay with Sarah while I'm gone. I gently reminded Sarah that I rarely see my family, and if they're asking and paying for me to fly there, it must be something serious that requires my presence. At parents' request, I did not tell her the nature of the issues they need help with. Plus, Sarah's own parents are only 2 to 2.5 hours drive away, and I'm confident they'll drop whatever they're doing to come help, should she need it. Her mom works remote and even could stay over some nights to help out with the twins. When you're married to someone, there shouldn't be like, oh, because my parents told me to not tell you, I'm not gonna tell you. Like, what the fuck? How is your parents' request prioritized higher than the woman you're about to have 2 children with? Sarah again called me crazy and ended up telling her parents what I suggested. They both called me lecturing and fussing about abandoning Sarah when she needs me most. I ended up venting to my younger brother, who is also going to be flying out to our parents. So there is somebody else going that couldn't be you, but for a shorter time, he is not married and child free. And he says Sarah is way out of line and she'll be fine if I go. She's simply reacting in this way due to hormones. To be honest, I really want to go, and my parents would lose several $1,000s if I refused, and I'd have to buy a ticket myself later if I don't go then. Would I be the a-hole if I went? Don't get me wrong, these stories are so interesting, but like, I can't react much other than just laughing at whatever the fuck this is. What are we doing here, bro? I almost want to call the wife a little bit the a-hole because you married this absolute dunce of a human being. Don't abandon your wife right right after she's given birth to twins and probably will not be able to do anything. I have hurt my wife deeply and I need help fixing it. We got a 21 male OP and a 22 female wife. My wife and I have been together since we were in middle school. We have loved each other unconditionally the entire time, but I have been slowly slipping and screwing up time after time. I need help to fix this and build our relationship to what it was before, but make it stronger and better. Here are the biggest things that happened to lead us to now. We talked about a push present for when my son was being born. I did not get her anything for it, even after she expressed wanting one, and I had told her I'd get something. In my defense, I was about to be deployed, so it was a lot going on, but still, it was our first child, and she didn't want anything big, just something to show I cared and loved her. I told her I'd make it up to her and never did. First Mother's Day, she celebrated as a new mom. I didn't do any decorations, and I got her only a bakeware pan, which was shipped broken. She liked the dish, but it was broken. I told her I'd return it for a new one and never did. I told her I'd make it up to her and never did. Hey man, I'm hearing a lot of never dids. Have you ever tried always doing? She gave me a very intimate gift for Valentine's Day. I showed little to no reaction. We were already having a few issues in bed due to ED caused by stress and anxiety, so she was trying to help by giving me a boudoir photo book that she put a lot of effort into. I told her I'd make it up to her and never did. This is actually understandable. I don't even think that's something that you need to make up to her, but like, make her feel appreciated and sexy. She wants you to be like, this is the sexiest shit I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm gonna go beat my meat. It's literally that easy. Then more recently, we had a date planned for lunch on a day I had off. She would be out of work for lunch around 12 to 12:30. I went to a card shop about 20 minutes away from her work, thinking I was right down the road. We recently moved, so I was confused, but still. Well, she was happy to see me and go on the date just to walk outside and realize I wasn't there and wouldn't be there for another 20 minutes. I told her I'd make it up to her, and I never did. If you haven't noticed the pattern yet, I have a problem with saying I will make it up and dropping the ball over and over after dropping the ball on the major things. I do not want to lose my wife because of broken promises and selfishness. The straw that broke the camel's back, though, was tonight, actually. We planned on spending time together for New Year's, and instead I was selfish and played online with my cousins for hours, which ate away at our time together. Then when she expressed she was upset about it, I didn't even try to talk to her about it. I pretty much just shrugged and tried to move past it. Then we just went to get ready for bed. Missed the clock turning to midnight, no kiss or anything, just let it pass. I let my wife go into the new year upset and questioning if I truly loved her or if I was with her for convenience. I love the woman more than I could ever express in any conceivable manner. I would do anything for her. I would hike the tallest mountain just to get her the flower she wants at the top that only grows there. I would give her the clothes from my back and the breath in my lungs to make sure she was comfortable and could breathe. She is an absolute angel. Clearly fucking not. I would climb the tallest mountain just to get her the flower that she likes, but you can't even fucking get her a $20 present when she's pushing out your child out of her vagine? Don't say this shit because it's just not true. She has given me every chance every time. She is the smartest, sweetest, most beautiful, amazing woman I have ever known. She still gives me butterflies when I look at her, when I think of her, when I kiss her. She loves me and she shows me how much she loves me. I have never questioned our love and I cannot ever forgive myself for making her question mine. Why do I keep fucking up and hurting us both? I need help. How do I fix this? I never want her to question my love for her or our relationship again. I feel like I'm losing the love of my life. She is perfect in my eyes, my dream girl. I don't want to lose her. I can't lose her. Yo, bro, started off by putting all of this into a card and giving it to her. All of this doesn't look like something that he can't actively do now. Even if it's been a year, go down this list and fulfill it. Here's your push present. I know it's a year or two late, but here it is. I'm sorry I didn't get it to you sooner, but I'd much rather give it to you now than never. It's literally that easy. In the time that you wrote this Reddit post, you could have just solved your issues. And I think the bigger issue here is that you have to come to a Reddit post to figure out something that I figured out in 5 minutes. Am I the a-hole for asking my wife to actually do some housework while she's at home? I, 35 male, have been with my wife, 29 female, for 6 years, married for 2 years. She's been off of work for the past month or so and will be for the next few months. We agreed that while she was off work, she would do 90% of the housework as I work a job 8 to 5. Over the past 2 weeks, she has been giving me excuse after excuse to why things like the laundry isn't done, the bathroom isn't clean, and dinner hasn't been done. Some days she barely gets out of bed and her house looks like a right state. I'm embarrassed when my parents come over as my mom keeps her house spotless. Last week, after I came home to only a fraction of the chores being done, I asked my wife if she was planning on actually doing the things she promised me she would do. She snapped at me saying it had been a bad day and I could be a bit more sympathetic. I pointed out that she said when she went off work, work that she was going to do the housework while I was at work. It's not difficult as both my mom and my sister can easily keep their houses clean and tidy. My wife blew up on me and said that I was being completely unreasonable. She went to stay with her parents, both of whom have been texting me and calling me an a-hole since. My parents and my sister both think I'm justified for reacting like this, so am I the a-hole. Edit, because I've already had people ask for more info. She's off work because she's 38 weeks pregnant with our first child. I think that says it all. Hey man, you didn't think to include that when you were talking about how lazy your wife is? Oh, by the way, she is growing a human inside of her. I don't see this as an excuse because all the women in my family have worked up until their due dates and managed to keep their homes tidy. Why can't my wife? I'm speechless, you guys. I don't even think I need to say anything. Like, I don't need to sit here and talk about what's wrong with this. This man laid it out very clearly how unbelievably wrong his opinions are just in general about women and housework. I can just tell by the way that he wrote this story that this man is a manipulator. Either that or he's just stupid. Either way, homegirl needs to leave this man. Like, go have this baby and immediately file for divorce. Am I the a-hole for not attending my fiance's dad's funeral because I was uncomfortable with wearing a hijab? I, 27 female, have been with my fiance, 29 male, for almost 5 years now. He is a South Asian Muslim, but was born here in America, while I am white and Christian. He is not very religious, but I am fairly devout in my own faith. His family is also fairly religious, and his mother and sister both wear hijab. We live on the West Coast, but both our families are on the East Coast, but my family lives in the South, and his family lives in the North, so they are far away from each other. This is all relevant. The two of us flew to visit my family for Christmas and New Year's. We flew in on the 22nd, and the plan was to stay until the 2nd, when we'd fly back home. His dad has been fairly sick for a while, and just a day after we arrived at my parents' house, he passed away. This was unexpected since he'd been doing better recently. Obviously, my fiance was devastated. Instantly booked us both flights so that we could attend his funeral together. We would have flown out on the 24th, so the flights were fairly expensive, booked last minute as well. Of course, I was sad to miss Christmas with my family, and my parents were very disappointed, but I was happy to go to support him. However, a few hours before we're going to fly out, he informs me that I'll have to wear a hijab to enter the mosque for the service, and we would not be allowed to go to the graveyard either. I did not feel comfortable doing this, so I told him I would rather not go. I figured if I couldn't attend the service, I might as well just stay with my parents so we could still do Christmas together, and he could come back to join us. This was a very hard decision for me to make, but my parents helped me a lot in making it. My fiance seemed okay with the decision and left without me, although before he left, he asked if I couldn't just come and not attend the service. He attended the service, but he hasn't come back and told me on the 29th he'd be doing New Year's there and hasn't messaged me since. His sister, who I've always been close with, texted me and told me how disappointed she was in me and that what I did was wrong. I don't think I did anything wrong because I couldn't attend the service anyway. She also said I should have at least paid him back for the flight he got for me, but it was almost $1,000 and I simply can't afford that. My fiance makes almost 5 times as much as I do, and the family is also very wealthy, so I know the money is not an issue. My parents agree with me and said it was important to spend Christmas with them since it's the first after being engaged. They also think it was wrong of him to completely abandon me and our plans for New Year's. Yo, these parents fucking suck. Yeah, you know, I know his dad died, but L move of him to abandon you for Christmas and New Year's. The fuck? My sister said I should have gone anyway to support him. Am I the a-hole? Is it against Christianity to wear a hijab? Would there be any repercussions for their own faith just to wear a hijab into a mosque? I don't think so. His dad died, and these are customs and traditions that are important to their family. And hey, it's literally just for the funeral service. You should have been there to support him, even if you couldn't go to the service. You're in the wrong for picking being with your family for a holiday over being with the person you're planning on marrying to support them when their parent died. I wouldn't be surprised if OP's parents intentionally manipulated OP into staying because they knew that it would create tension in their relationship. If OP is super religious and has been raised religious, I would not be surprised if her parents aren't a little mad or disappointed that she's not marrying another Christian. My girlfriend got hurt at Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I feel terrible, but don't think it was on purpose. She's mad at me. I started taking Brazilian jiu-jitsu in 2021 as a way to get into better shape after the lockdowns. I had joined a regular gym, and I also started going to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Academy on the advice of my cousin, who had started going to one. He lives in another province, however. He was able to recommend one where I live. I'm only a blue belt, but I really enjoy it. I started dating my girlfriend last year, and I thought Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was something we could do together. She was reluctant. I got her to come observe me a few times. She was still reluctant. Then she told me about a women's only class for beginners at a different academy. Part of why she was reluctant was that there was currently no women at my academy. We have had women before, but they always drop out and stop coming after a while. If that's not the biggest red flag I've ever seen in my entire life, I don't know what is. I didn't think the women's only class was a good idea. Plus, the idea was for us to do something together, so I convinced her to join my academy. She joined almost 2 months ago. In that time, she went with me every time she wasn't working on the same evenings I was free and would go to the academy. She never went alone, though. A few times she complained to me that the others at the academy were rough, but it's a contact sport, and I convinced her to stay after she wanted to quit. Last week, I had to work a couple of days when she wasn't working. I tried to convince her to go without me. The first time she didn't, but the second time I got her to go. She got hurt that time. She was rolling with a blue belt and he got her into an arm bar. She says he went right into it and didn't go slow or give her time to tap. She broke her arm, left ulna near the elbow. He says he was just trying to show her how fast things happen in real life and didn't think her arm would break like that. She said the others should know because of the size and weight difference, and he should not have done the arm bar that forceful or fast. I believe him that it was an accident. However, I feel terrible for my girlfriend. I've only talked to her once since she got hurt. It was mostly her being upset and I didn't really get to say anything. We were talking about moving in together. Now she said she doesn't want to. She said the others at the academy were rough and should have known not to go so hard because she's smaller than them. It's a contact sport and one of the purposes is self-defense. I do not like that she got hurt, but I also don't believe the blue belt or any of the others were rough on purpose. She won't talk to me. I don't even know what's going to happen with our relationship. She said she is mad at herself for not quitting when she wanted to, but she is mad at me too and at our instructor. I don't know why she's mad at him. I feel awful that she got hurt, but at the same time, it's a contact sport and injuries can happen. I don't think it was on purpose or anything like that. Unless you're competing, nothing should get broken. Why is the boyfriend so adamant about her going to jiu-jitsu? He pretty much forced her to go to this thing. The academy, huge red flag. The boyfriend, even more red flag. Who is like, I'm really looking for an activity that we can do together as couple. Ooh, you know what we should do? Jiu-jitsu. Said nobody ever. Unless that's both of your guys' passions and both of your guys' interests. My 26 male girlfriend, 22 female, kicked a child and I can't view her the same way. My girlfriend and I have been dating for 2 years now. A few days ago, she told me the following. She left to take our dog to the dog park in our apartment complex. When she got there, a boy who we now know is 8 years old with a ball pump approached her and asked if he could pet the dog. She let him. Then when he took too long, told him that our dog can't poop if she's distracted. The kid didn't respond well to that and followed them into the dog park. He climbed into a tube tunnel in there, and when our dog went over to sniff the tunnel, my girlfriend saw him poking the dog with the pump. She told him not to do that and leashed our dog and took her to a trail that goes through the trees behind our apartment complex that's decently far from the dog park. While she was on the trail letting the dog sniff around, she noticed that the boy was following them, still with the ball pump. She pretended to get on her phone and asked the boy something like, "What's your name?" The police officer on the phone wants to know. The boy got angry and started running at them. My girlfriend put herself between him and our dog, and he jammed the basketball pump into her leg and she kicked him, sending him tumbling down the hill by the path. She said that it was an automatic reaction, but I don't know if I believe that. The boy ended up spraining his wrist and his parents called the police. My girlfriend was questioned but not arrested. The parents want to press charges, and as much as my girlfriend insists that she thinks it will be fine, I just can't get the idea of her being violent towards a minor out of my mind. I want kids someday. I thought I knew who I was dating. She injured a child, and I feel so gross that I've been dating someone like this. How does our relationship move forward? What a terrible boyfriend, bro. For you to be like, my girlfriend literally got attacked and I'm mad at her. That's self-defense. I don't care who's coming at you, bro. It could be a kid in a wheelchair. If that kid in a wheelchair is a threat, have at it. The girlfriend definitely needs to dump OP. Like, what is she supposed to do? Stand there and let the kid stab her? Told my wife, female 35, that she couldn't do it without me, male 34. Turns out she can. I made one stupid, selfish comment to my wife a week or so ago, and now my life is in disarray. My wife is in some crisis. Her work is closed and she's being paid, but she's home with our kids now, including one 3-year-old. She gets breaks on Monday and Friday with childcare. We went into having kids knowing she wanted to be a working mother, so this has been an adjustment to say the least. She spent a long day with our kids and the neighboring kids, and when I came upstairs from work and she asked for a break, I didn't respond well. I made excuses and didn't offer help, and for the first time in years, my wife lost her temper and cursed at me. Like an idiot, I dug in and thought I was right. I admit we both said some unkind things, but after Reddit humbled me and she made me sit down and write a list of things I did for the family that day and compared it with her. Longer list. I apologized. She accepted and I figured things would go back to normal. They haven't. My wife used to include me in parenting our kids. I did dance pickup most weeks and bedtime was split. I gave baths, made dinner, all the stuff. Since our fight, my wife hasn't asked me for any help with the kids. The first morning I woke up on what was supposed to be my morning with the kids, I figured she was just being nice or trying to prove a point, but it keeps happening. She didn't even send them down to say goodnight last night. Normally my wife does this this silly game where she sends my son to ask me to read 5 books, and then we would negotiate down to 1 or 2 and race upstairs. Last night, I heard her racing him and came up to find her doing bedtime yet again. The kids haven't even noticed. It's like she's replacing me. When we were fighting, I said something really dumb that's living inside me and festering. My wife was being nasty and said, "You wouldn't see the kids a quarter as much as you do if I didn't arrange it, and I'm done managing you." I defended myself. I'm not an absent parent, and said something along the lines of, "I'd like to see how long you can manage without me. Consider my foot officially in my mouth." She started running again. She's cooking really healthy, and often, every night, I come home to my perfectly happy Stepford wife doing it all without me, and I feel empty inside. How do I fix this? I don't know where to begin. At this point, I want to beg her to go back to how things were. This wasn't what we agreed on. When I was reading this, my reaction wasn't, "This guy is a devil." My reaction was, this is like 110% a himbo. This guy floats through life not being aware of the shit that's happening around him. He can't come to the conclusions himself. Like, he needs someone to tell him exactly what to do. I think he just needs to figure out, you can't sit there and wait to be asked to do things. You just have to go and do them. Let's read this edit. Believe it or not, I want to be a good father and husband. I've royally fucked up, and I see that and fully admit it. This is going to be my only edit, and then I'm going to get off my phone for a while and focus my attention on my family. My wife had dinner cooked when I got home. Everything is fine between us, so there wasn't really any tension. After we cleaned up, I went upstairs and ran my wife a bath, put Taylor Swift on her Alexa, and lit a few candles. I told her to go relax upstairs for the night. She was surprised, but smiled and went on her way. I'm currently on the toilet watching my kids take a bath. People mentioned love bombing, etc., but I'm just trying anything I can to show her I do appreciate and love her and our family, and I want to be a present father. I'm going to do bedtime tonight and probably all next week. I'll tell her she does so much during the day and deserves a break because it's the truth. I get that I come off as an asshole. I grew up in a not great situation and didn't have the best role models growing up. I'm terrified of my children not having enough, and I overcompensate by working too much. This new job came with a big pay increase, but the hours are longer, and I feel like I can never keep up. I've reached out to a few recruiters tonight. I used to love my job and was always home by 4:30. Even if it means taking the lost income, I'm thinking about going back. Relationships are hard, and humans aren't perfect. For all the people telling me my kids don't love me and I'm a waste of space, I don't know, guys. Just remember, I'm an actual person. That shit's rough. Anyways, that's all I have for you folks. I need to watch these kiddos and start planning out my long road of groveling and reconnecting. This is awesome. It's very hard for me to be like, this man is a devil, when honestly, he's just dumb. I could never sit here and call someone a devil who is able to like sit back and be like, I know I'm in the wrong. I just don't know what to do here. Like, how do I fix this? What are the things that I need to do to like make my wife know that like I don't want to be the complacent father? If you're looking for more messy Reddit stories, click the link at the top of the description or the videos popping up on screen right now. The members of our community love these videos, and I'm sure you'll enjoy them too.